Hey guys, Rich from Richmond Gaming. Hope everyone is doing fantastically well, and they have eventually arrived. Weekend later than what I hoped, but they are here. The Shadow Collective starter sets. Not one, but two boxes in total, just because it was cheaper. Basically for the same price as buying more Pike Syndicate, more Black Suns and more Shadow Collective. You got the extra Maul, the extra Root Clask and the other bits as well. So yeah, ended up just getting getting two boxes. Also picked up Gar Saxon. So we'll take a look at him as well. And then lastly, we got the upgraded card pack. You can see the new symbols on there for the mercenaries. And yeah, it's an interesting one because as you guys know, I love me some bounty hunters. On the videos that we're doing at the moment, I've been playing with Bossk, but I've been playing with the old version of Bossk, who was a member of the Empire. But now we've had all three of the bounty hunters, so Boba Fett, Cad Bane, and of course Bossk, now have new cards, and this is how you get hold of their new cards, basically, that are now mercenaries. And there's new rules on mercenaries and everything else. We're not going to go into that today. What we're going to do is open up this box, take a look at what we get inside, and then I'm going to go away, put them all together, and then I'll show you exactly what we get in two boxes and how there's enough for an entire army, or at least an entire 800 points with a few options in there as well. And we'll probably take a look at Gar Saxon at some point as well. So let's jump over to the camera and we'll take a look what's in these boxes. Okay then guys, so first of all, once again, and apologies, we've got a little skylight in there because it's so sunny today. Let's start by taking off this this film here, because that will make it a little bit easier to see. But Shadow Collective, what's different about it? Well, they can be a faction in their own right if all you use are the Shadow Collective themselves or the mercenaries themselves. And there's a list on the new errata or the new document in terms of what you can and can't use with them. Or basically they can be used as individual mercenaries. So anyone in this pack can be added to any of the other armies that are already out there. So now you can take all of these characters with the Imperials, or with the Rebels, or with the Separatists, or with the clones, whatever else, whatever it is you want to take them with, you can take them with. But there are some rules around how many you can have in there. But that artwork is just really, really nice. So in here then, we do have a number of different things. So there are effectively, there's going to be 2/3 leaders. So we've got the Pike Syndicate Capos. So that's the sort of generic leader for the Pike Syndicate. We've got the Black Sun Vigos, and again, they are the generic commanders for the Black Suns. But then we also have Darth Maul as well, and if you do take Darth Maul with his lightsaber, then he is going to earn that commander pip, and he will be able to command your armies. Interestingly, there's some rules, and we'll maybe take a look at those in a little bit. Why Maul is maybe the better leader for the if you're taking the full Shadow Collective. Other characters then that we've got, and this is an exclusive, I believe, in here. Let's look to that side. There we go. So it is Rook Cast, and that's going to be basically a personnel upgrade for your Mandalorian Super Commandos. So let's open up this box and see what we've got inside. Once again, guys, I will say this every single time. Look at the size of the box and look at what we get in there. That is it. Like, I get, because this is a battle box, they want it to look bigger, but really, guys, really, half the size of the box and you could have fit everything in comfortably. So that irks me. And I get it's around cost, standardised boxes. They've got to look good on shelves and everything else. And, you know, I think these were £55 in the UK, something like that. They've got to justify the cost, but they could have easily made it half the size. And, yeah, saved on all that cardboard and everything else in there. But it is what it is. We don't get instructions anymore. This has been something that we've seen from Atomic Mass Games for a while now, but there's a QR code there with building instructions. You've got all the credits and everything else on there as well. And then I suppose a cool little poster. Not seen them do this before. But yeah, there we go. Cool little poster, which is the artwork from the front. Let's take a look at these tokens first of all before we get into them. So everything here is obviously all standard. In fact, let's take this off again just because we really, really do not want that that shine on there. There we go. So what you need to remember with these guys is when you're using them just as the Shadow Collective Battle Force, then these are the tokens that you're going to be using. If you want to use a unit of Black Sun Enforcers, for example, you're not going to be able to use these if you're playing them in the Rebels. You'll have to use a Rebel Core token. So just an important one to point out there. And interestingly, I'm just counting up. I expected to get in these boxes one a Maul, two. So there we go. So they're for Maul, two leaders. So one Vigo, one Capo. But we're actually getting two of them, and then four of these. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leader tokens, but then also only one operative. But then 1, 2, 3, 4 of these ones. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Oh, sorry, yeah, one operative there, one special forces, which will be the super commandos, the Mandalorians, but no tokens for the other operatives that we may want to use in here. So Cad Bane or indeed Bosk. But yeah, obviously all the tokens are normal as well. We've got some shield tokens there. They'll be for the commandos. But I do like these little yellow tint on there. I'm not going to pop these yet. We'll move them to one side. Let's take a look at the plastic and see what we get. So this is looking like it's going to be. This is going to have both Darth Maul and Rook Cast on there, or Rook Cast, sorry, on there as well. And you can see they've got a couple of head options there, just there. Looking at Maul, I really hope, and it doesn't look like there, or is there a version for Maul where you don't have to have the lightsaber? Because if Maul is using the dark saber has a special wording on it that basically says, let me just check it now, it has sidearm melee range, so it replaces, the darksaber replaces all of your other weapons, so you don't get to dual wield your lightsabers. So, but yet they still give him an arm with a lightsaber. So I will take a look at that and see what is possible. These look like they are going to be the Pike Syndicate. So 1, 2, 3, 4 there. 2 whips. 5, 6. 6. Yeah, okay. So you get 6 of them. And then we've got the Black Sun Enforcers. So again, looks like we're going to be getting, okay, so we're getting 2 leaders. Okay. So we're going to be getting 2 of the Black Sun Vigos, I think. Or is that front and back? That's front and back. So we are only getting 1. Absolute numpty. It's just confusing because we've got so many of these leader tokens. So it's just interesting as to why. But yeah, we'll keep on looking through them. These are then the Commandos, again looking pretty cool. And then I think these are the other half of the Commandos. So they've got options for jetpacks and things like this. The good thing about this game, guys, is it's nothing like Warhammer 40k or anything like that, where you've got to have the thing equipped. You can give them what they want, whatever you want. So you can put the rocket packs on them, but not necessarily have the armament that is the jetpack rockets, because that's a separate armament for them. It doesn't come as standard with the Mandalorians in this one. So yeah, looks like they're all going to be wearing helmets. Looks like we may have a couple of options for helmets there as well. So we'll have to see how they work. But yeah, let's take a look, guys, at the cards. So it's quite a small pack of cards, but they've got in here then. So we've got some, in fact, let's zoom in a little bit. So first up then we have Ploy, the new command card. It's going to be no units. Now it doesn't state it is Shadow Collective only. So I'm assuming if you have the upgrade on your commander that lets you control mercenaries, that you will be able to use this card as well. Because it does say you need to nominate a mercenary unit. So nominate a mercenary unit, you can nominate an operative unit. Choose one of your order tokens, place it face down on this card. You may look at this token at any time. When you would draw an order token from your pool, you may use the order token on this card instead. So interesting whether or not this is going to be completely open, so you can just pick any order token whatsoever, or if it has to be one that's assigned to a mercenary, because obviously once you draw it, you can choose what you want to activate. So it'd be interesting to see how that one works. I'm not entirely sure yet. We've then got a second pip, so a new second pip, and again the artwork on these is very, very nice. So aggression. 2 units, you must nominate a mercenary unit. Again, when issuing orders with this card, you may issue up to 2 fewer orders. For each order not issued, choose a different friendly mercenary at range 1 to 3. Each unit gains an aim token. So there's going to be some nice synergy there with some of the characters that can make really good use of those aim tokens, especially some of your operatives, and even if you've got Maul as your leader or something like that. So yeah, really like that one. And again, I think you're going to be able to take this one in any list where you're running mercenaries, as long as you have that upgrade that allows you to control them. Not 100% sure though. And then lastly, we have discretion. So it's a 3 pip. You must nominate a mercenary unit when issuing orders with this card. For each order not issued, okay, so it's exactly the same, but it's 3, and this time it's a dodge token. So that is really nice. But you have to choose a friendly mercenary unit to get it. So it has to be a mercenary unit. So actually, with some of the mercenaries, as you'll see when we go into the cards, once we've built the models, if you're not giving them an order token, a lot of them have the independent keyword on there as well, which means if they don't have a face-up order token at the start of the phase, then they gain other things, like either dodges or surges or something like that. So yeah, that could be really nice. And then we are on to Maul's card. So this is the first of his new cards. This is Witch Magic. Maul, you must nominate Maul, and it quite clearly states there that it is the Shadow Collective Maul. That's that little symbol there. So I don't think you're going to be able to use this card with the original Maul. But while building a command hand, treat this card as though it has 1 pip. That's really nice. Remove up to 2 wound tokens and any number of poison or immobilized tokens from Maul. When Maul activates, he recovers. So when we go into Maul's card, and you'll understand the sort of mastery that he has. He comes into the game with one wound, but it means that he can make extra moves and such things, so, or take extra actions. So yeah, that's a really nice card. So then second of the new cards is his Eminence, and once again it's going to be Shadow Collective Maul only. Maul gains 1 dodge token, and this is actually for Maul and 1 other unit, so any other unit. Maul gains 1 dodge token. Each other trooper at range 1 of Maul gains 1 suppression token. When another friendly trooper unit at range 1 of Maul activates, it skips its rally step. That unit cannot be suppressed or panicked. Nice. And then lastly then, for the Maul new cards, is going to be seize what power we can. So 3 pip, it's going to be Maul and 2 units. You must nominate, again, Shadow Collective Maul, place 1 aim and 3 surge tokens on this card. Each time an enemy unit at range 1 of Maul spends an aim, dodge or surge, place 1 token of the same type on this card. Friendly mercenary units can spend tokens on this card as if their units had these tokens. I mean, that's really nice. You know, especially when you come up against, you know, you've got obviously clones, you've got, so this is really nice, especially when you're coming up against, you know, the Empire with their aim tokens or the Rebels with their dodge tokens. So yeah, this is a really nice card. And I think, yeah, there we go. So although the old Maul can't use the new Maul cards, the new Maul can actually use the old Maul cards. So you can see here we've got Duel of the Fates, the Phantom Menace, and then, oh actually, Maul gains infiltrate. During the first round, Maul and friendly DRK-1 Sith probe units. I wonder if Maul can have his Sith probes. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to try and take a look. And then lastly is At Last. So when you're building it, you treat it as though it's 3 pip, but it's obviously only a 1 pip, and he gets Jedi Hunter. So I think this is still a card I will be taking with me. Okay guys, so what we'll do is we'll go through each of the character cards and upgrade cards once we build everything up. But I'm going to go away now, build up all these models, we'll come back and we'll take a look at each of them in turn. Okay then guys, so it has been a matter of seconds for you guys, but it's taken me a good while to go through and actually build all of these miniatures up. So in total we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 20, 24 characters in total, or 23 figures in total. So again, really, really good value. And there's a lot of characters that have got a couple of options. Now, as I mentioned, I do have a second box. So what I'm going to be doing is using the alternate sculpt, at least for the commanders, because they've got a couple of different options. But here you can see we have Darth Maul, the rival version here. So this is his card. Let's go through it in a little bit more detail. So he's got Jump 1, he's got that Allies of Convenience that we mentioned. He's also got Deflect, Immune to Pierce, Juyo Mastery, which basically means he's allowed to make 3 separate actions as long as he's taken 1 wound, and then you'll notice wound 1. So the first time you enter play, you suffer 1 wound. So obviously that means that he gets 3 from the off, but only 2 of them can actually be movements. You can't make 3 movements, and you are still restricted to being able to make 1 attack. Upgrades for him then is, as we mentioned, we've got the Darksaber, and it takes him from being an operative to being the actual leader. And this Darksaber will replace that double-bladed lightsaber that he carries around with him. So yeah, I will be doing the other version of Maul. So I'm going to keep them both, and I'll be painting one up with the Darksaber and then this one up as the normal one. So next up then, we've got the Mandalorian Super Commandos. Now these come in a unit of 3. So units that we get that are normal are these 3 here. Now this is the one that I envisage being the actual leader. So that's probably the one that I would make the leader. We've then got another unit here, or another character here, and then another model here as well. And then on top of that, you have the option for a extra actual unit. So we've got this Mandalorian Super Commando. So Mandalorian Super Commando, add 1 Mandalorian unit. So I've chose this one to be on the jetpack. And again, it has this cache with the Surge 2, which is quite nice as well. We've got the Super Commando Gunslinger. So this comes with Lethal 1. And I really like how dynamic this poses. I chose to put them on the sort of smallest one there. I thought that looked quite cool. But again, I'll mix it up with the second box that I put together. And then we also have the Super Commando Marksman. So that's the one with precise one. So, you know, not quite a sniper, but sniper-esque. And then lastly, just move them to one side for a second. We then have Rook Cast. So this is the one that is exclusive to this box. So if you want this extra model, and she again comes with a couple of options. She comes with and without a helmet. If you want this model, then you are definitely going to have to buy this this box, or as I mentioned, we are giving one away at the moment. And then last options for these guys is they do have a couple of upgrades as well. So you've got the Super Combat Shield, so you gain Shield 2, so that can be really, really nice. And then you've got the Super Commando Jetpack Rockets. That's going to be a range for single use. That's what that X means there. Blast, critical one, and impact one. So yeah, they're going to be really, really useful. These are probably my favourite unit from the actual box itself, and I did like the number of different options you get for how you set them up. So I'm going to try and make the next group that I put together look a little bit different. But yeah, technically you could, you know, you've got enough here to actually be able to make a unit of 4 and a unit of 3 should you wish. Obviously you just don't use the extra things, but yeah, really, really nice models. Okay, so next up then we've got the Pike Syndicate Capo. And this is another model that had not too many options on this one. It's just you could choose to have these sort of little, I don't know if you'd call them feathery things on his head, or you could have them without. So he's the one of the other leaders that we've got in here. And as I mentioned, you sort of see him as like a generic Imperial officer. He's not a named character. He's got aid, so when you would gain an aim, dodge or surge token, another friendly Pike unit at range 1 and in line of sight may gain that token instead. If they do, you gain 1 suppression. Danger sense, you may not choose to remove your suppression tokens while defending. Roll 1 extra defense die for each suppression token you have, rolling up to 2 dice in total. And then independent dodge, that's what we spoke about before, where if they don't have an activation token or an order token in the activation phase, then they do gain a dodge token. If we choose to take him as an additional personnel for the full group, then you're going to get your courage is increased by 1, which is really nice. And then you gain independent surge 1. And if we look at the Pike foot soldiers here, yes, they have a surge to block, but they do not have a surge to hit. So once again, there's a few options here for a lot of these characters. Now, the one that I again would see as being the leader is pretty much this one. If you're pointing in this game, I feel like that's probably the leader of your unit. And then there's a couple of options for them. So some of them are dual wielding, these P13 long blasters. You've got some that just have a single blaster in hand. And then you've got the options to have units that have both the single blaster and the baton as well. And then others that have sort of a different style arm on there also as well. So obviously you've got the option to add in an extra unit to this as well. So if we add in a Pike Syndicate foot soldier, let's pop them there a second. Again, as well as getting the mini, you're also going to get cash aim 1. So you start with an aim token, and then yeah, there you go, it stays there. But you do you have this keyword even if this mini is defeated. Other options for them then, there are 2 weapons upgrades for these guys. First of all is going to be the P13M Disruptor. So put that there a second. This is going to be a range 1 to 4, impact 1, which is quite nice. And again, another nice model. Not quite, not quite a sniper rifle. It doesn't have pierce or anything like that, but that's quite nice. And then the more sort of short range one that we've got here, which is going to be the Electro Whip Soldier, which he's going to be able to use them in for an attack both melee and at range 1. Now this comes with immobilize 1 and suppressive, but you do have to actually wound the unit for immobilize 1, but the suppressive is going to do 1 extra suppression token, which is really nice. And as you can see there, that's a really, really nice model. And once again, you have the choice to either include the baton or not with that one. So again, I'll be mixing these up, and I'll be putting some different options in there with the next box that I do, but just didn't have time to do them all tonight. So next up then, we've got the Black Sun Vigo, and another really cool model. These are the models that I'm really looking forward to painting the most, I think. Options for these two, obviously, he can either be standalone character as a commander, or you can have him added as a personnel. He's got the aid that we saw on the other character. He's also dauntless. So after you rally, if you are suppressed but not panicked, gain 1 suppression token to perform a free move action. So yeah, being able to get that second action, although it does have to be a move action. He's then got independent aim 1, so again, if he doesn't have a face-up order token at the beginning of his activation, he can gain 1 aim token. I'm really liking these double blasters that he's got here, so 2 black and 2 white. Doesn't have anything else like pierce or anything like that, but that looks really, really nice. And then here once again, we can see that the courage is increased by 1, and you gain independent surge 1. And again, if we look at the Black Sun enforcers, we actually don't get any surge to anything on these guys. Yes, they're rolling a red defense dice, but they do have that double blaster. So they are, for each mini, you're going to be rolling 1 black and 1 white, which is, yeah, really, really nice. Models for these guys then, again, we got a few different options in terms of how they look. Now, these figures are big. These guys are big units. Just to give you an idea, comparing them to the Pikes and then comparing them to the Mandalorians. So these guys are big, big guys. But again, this is the one that I would imagine being the actual leader if you didn't have the Vigo or the Vigo in there. And then you've got a number of characters here that have these BH4 double blasters, which are, again, really, really nice. Plenty of options for there. So these come with 4 in a single unit, but obviously you've got options there to add in an extra unit. And if we do add in that extra unit, yes, as you can probably imagine, there is a card for that, and they are bringing that cash dodge 1. So during setup, place 1 dodge token on this card, and then again, even if it's been defeated, you still keep the keyword. So that's really, really nice. And then in terms of weapons upgrades, first things we've got then is a Magdet Enforcer. So this is going to be 3 black dice with a blast, impact 3, which is really, really good. And as you can see here, a really nice model. Almost, this guy almost reminds me of like Urukai-esque. So, you know, he's running towards the danger with his big explosion that he's ready to fire off. And then we've got the Scattergun Enforcer. Only range 1 to 2, but it is going to be adding 2 red dice into your dice pool. And it does have Pierce 1 as well, which is really, really nice. And again, I really do like that model. It looks very much like almost like a sawn-off shotgun kind of thing. So, yeah, overall, guys, I think for what I paid for this, super value for money, and would highly recommend it to anyone as a starting point. Don't go out and buy the separate models, and if you are wanting to run these, just buy 2 packs. Yes, there's a little bit of overlap. You know, you get 2 Mauls, you get 2 Rook casts, but realistically, yeah, it's going to be just more cost effective to do it in that way. Let's jump back over to the other camera and I'll give you my final thoughts. So guys, just one last thing actually. This is Future Rich coming at you here because I've just realised this. I did make a statement earlier that these models could go into any unit, and I just want to make sure I clarify up on that because there are some restrictions around what the mercenaries what they can be using. So if you look at the top left hand corner here of each of the cards, you're going to see the various units all the various factions that they can be used with. So we can see there that the Pike Syndicate foot soldiers, they're going to be able to use with all 4 existing, obviously, and the battle force as well. Same for the, as you'd expect him, for the Pike Syndicate Capo there as well. So Separatists, Empire, Rebels, and Galactic Republic. But if we look at some of the others, they are going to be limited. So it's going to be Empire and Separatists for the Black Sun Enforcers. But then when we get to Maul's card, you can see here that both Maul, the Mandalorian Super Commandos, and actually the new AA5 speeder truck, so this is from the expansion pack, they're only going to be able to be used with the Shadow Collective, I believe. I think that's what those two pips mean. So you're not going to be able to run Maul in your Rebels, for example, which thematically obviously makes sense. But yeah, just wanted to clarify that before I round it up. Well, there we go, guys. That is the box opening of the Star Wars Legion Shadow Collective starter set. As I mentioned, I looked at it and I did pay about £50, I think, including shipping for these units. I do still have Gar Saxon that I will be doing an unboxing for. Just didn't get a chance to really do it. This video is already quite a bit longer than what I thought it would be. So, but hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you enjoyed the breakdown of the individual characters as well. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting these painted up and actually getting them on the battlefield and starting to have some fun with them. And guys, if you want to win one of these Shadow Collective starter sets, we are doing a giveaway at the moment on the channel. Go and take a look at the battle reports that I have been doing. I think by the time this video comes out, the second one won't quite be out yet, but the first one is definitely out. And hidden within those battle reports, there are some letters that are hidden, and then when you watch all 4 all the way through, you'll find the letters that will make up a Star Wars related word. And then once you've done that, you need to send me that word, DM me that word on Discord, on Facebook, or wherever else. But you do also need to subscribe to the channel, and you also need to subscribe to my partner in Legion, or partner in crime, I should say, Mr. Paul Foxhound. So Paul Rolls Dice. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel down in the description below as well. And guys, if you've liked this video in any way, shape, or form, please leave a like. It really, really does help, especially with the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel even further, we do have our Patreon up and running now. And a big thank you to all of our Patreons. They're the ones that have made it possible for me to build the sort of recording studio in my office with the cameras and everything else. So we're now able to start doing these live battle reports as well. If you haven't yet, guys, as well, head over to the Discord. Yes, right now it is primarily a Marvel Crisis Protocol Discord, but lots of those guys that play MCP also play Star Wars Legion as well. But head on over there, and yeah, you'll find my details on there as well if you need to DM me once you've got that word. And guys, as always, it leaves me with just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time, may the Force be with you.